minute, fellas. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Joy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the power band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my epic companions, Jarhigo.
Yo.
And C-Lab forever.
Yo.
Welcome to the podcast, folks. This week we're talking about the 1995 classic science fiction quasi-indie cult hit, Strange Days, starring Ralph Fiennes, Angela Bassett, Tom Sizemore, and Michael Wincott, and of course, Juliette Lewis. Let's start the show.
It's a pretty classic 90s noir cyberpunk movie, man. It's a good one.
Benny, this was your pick. Why did you pick it?
I think we were talking about, some of these 90s cyberpunk movies, probably around the time Cyberpunk 2077 came out. And
street tacos.
This one stuck out as, sort of one off the beaten path, but, one that was probably, at least in my eyes, significantly better than something like Johnny Mnemonic.
Mm-hmm.
One of the better 90s cyberpunk movies, kind of drawing a blank, but, weaving the Matrix out of it, This
yes.
one was one of the better ones.
Definitely. Chad?
Yeah, I think I picked this one up in a video store once, back when there were video stores, and it definitely is exactly the kind of thing I was into at the time, There wasn't a lot of broad pickings in the 90s, at least where I lived.
Nope.
And so to get a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of cyberpunk, some kind of cool tech stuff, I was pretty pumped on this back in the day. And then looking back on it now, it's there's definitely a lot of nostalgia for the period, nostalgia for the pre-internet stuff, nostalgia for the ridiculousness of the turning of the millennium. It's just, yeah, it hit a lot of warm, comforting notes, even though there were some intense moments.
Yes, right on. Wow. Warm, comforting notes. There you have it, folks.
Maybe I just peed myself or something. I don't know.
You might have. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have never seen this movie, or as I said before, it was so long ago that I don't remember anything about it. And I wish I had seen this back in the day. My thoughts are, I have aspirational thoughts about this movie, and I found it a little hard to choke down. I was having I was having a hard time choking this down. And, I kind of started watching it one night.
Oh, really?
And then we flipped on the schedule, so I sat on it for a little while. And then I watched it the other day, and I was having a hard time choking it down. And then I started it again, and it was kind of getting a little bit better, but it was still tough. So I kind of miss the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Even though nostalgia doesn't always save a film, we've had a couple. I'm looking at you, Double Impact, where I had nostalgia, and that just turned out to be like I wanted to claw my eyes out.
I'm looking at you, Double Impact, with Juliette Lewis's dad.
Yeah, whoa, nice one.
I think when I said nostalgia, I'm actually not even talking about nostalgia for this movie, though. I'm just kind of talking about nostalgia for 90s tropes, 90s kind of what the 90s people thought cyberpunk was, or what the 90s people thought like cool tech was.
In the future, they will put a quantum squid on your head that records your experiences onto this amazing new technology. The Minidisc.
Exactly.
Still got my Minidisc player, bro. Still works.
Some dingleberry stole mine when I checked my bag at the airport, which, yeah, whatever. That's a story for another time. But I love Minidisc players, man.
That's tragic, though. They are awesome and super versatile. And
had their moment in the sun.
They did. And, I don't know. Just like what Ben said, watching them flash the mini discs seductively, around in the movie was definitely funny. It's like, check this out. I've got a great one right here. I mean, it's a little sexier than like a USB stick, so I'll give them points for that.
Yeah, man, that would have been pretty lame if they were just flashing USB sticks around.
Hey, I got something good right here. You want to go skiing? You want to have sex? Anything you want. Benny, was this like did you have a nostalgia hit on this movie? Is that
No, not at all. I was kind of curious to watch it again because it had been a long time since I'd seen it, and I was just dealing with what I remembered about it vaguely.
Right on. Let's start with the high level, or expound on the high level we already started. Chad, lay it down.
I think I touched on it a moment ago, but I'm really enjoying sci-fi-ish material that is set in a universe that doesn't have smartphones and the internet.
Totally.
I'm so kind of over the fucking internet age at this point.
Yeah.
And everyone being glued to their phones, that it's just kind of a nice escape to watch something that takes place outside of that day-to-day, casino, slot machine, fucking dopamine hit smartphone thing. So I kind of really dug that at a high level. And then just what I said before of the 90s-ness of it. Like, the dialogue was kind of cheese dick at times. The shots were cheese dick. The costumes were cheese dick, but they were all like super endearingly cheese dick. So I just enjoyed the kind of, it's a small world. It's a small world after all. Disney on rails 90s fucking amusement park ride that it was,
Yeah, that's a really good point. Amazing that it only took us this long to get so utterly sick of or heavily fatigued on the smartphone internet world, because I'm feeling the same thing. As a small sidebar, Nokia re-released their old little candy bar phone like 2 years ago.
Oh, the old Razor?
Which one it was. No, not the Razor. It was Nokia. It was like the 5100 or something like that, 3100. Yeah. And I was just yearning, man. I was like, I've thought numerous times, like, how can I make it work to just get a phone like that so I don't have to like look at this stupid thing all day? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I've just stopped using the phone as much as I used to. But
it's just too much to keep up with, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, it's an onslaught of madness, Yeah.
And then to like close out the high level for me, I think like,
yeah, sure,
the turning of the millennium just brought back a lot of memories of how the whole
totally.
Y2K thing everyone's freaking out about, and then just like actually like the build up for years that you're like, what are we, where am I going to be? What party am I going to go to? And then just like,
totally.
in pure fucking like NSYNC boy band 90s dickhead flair, like I had a pair of metallic silver pants and I ended up vomiting in my friend's shoes as the millennium came in, so like it was the most 90s thing ever, and I'm kind of stoked about it. I think I had frosted tip bleach blonde hair at the time too, so
nice.
Oh my god, what a chode, dude. So you were like basically like Guy Fieri.
Did you have a fake Rolex and a Lenny, polyester button-up dragon shirt?
Nah, I didn't quite go that far with it, but I should have. Yeah, I should have. I think Kev stole my dragon shirt to cover his wrist darts or whatever he talked about in the other episode. So.
That is likely.
Yeah. No, I had a pair of silver pants left over from a costume party, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm wearing them." And then just
my God.
I was 19, I think, at the time, and I totally just completely blew it. Drank all of my drink way too early, and then ended up like just puking inside my friend's sneakers on the front porch of his house at midnight, which is funny.
That sounds like the 90s to me.
Yeah, exactly. So like when the midnight thing's rolling around at the end of this movie, I was just like had flashbacks of it, and I enjoyed it. It made me chuckle. So that's my high level.
Interesting. Benny, what about you, man?
Yeah, to be fair, on New Year's Eve, I was wearing a silver crushed velvet button-up shirt.
Yes. See?
Nice.
That's why we're meant to be on this podcast together.
Exactly. Match made in fashion hell.
I love that, like, there was all this, hype about the Y2K bug and everything. And then it's just like...
just a wet fart.
It was like the next morning and they're like, oh, no. Like, the computer people were like, no, we thought of that a long time ago. Like, we got it covered. It's fine.
It's fine.
No big deal. They're like, it was like they weren't paying attention, And then they're like, what, us? Like, oh, no, that's nothing.
Oh, no, you guys are good. You're good.
Wait, you're worried about what? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Really?
I gotta say, in Jarhigo parlance, that was a large nothing burger.
Yeah.
It was a nothing burger, indeed. So wait, what was the question? High level?
Just your kind of high level thoughts on the film.
Yeah, I will. I'll echo Chad. I'm definitely kind of into the 80s vision of what the future was going to be like, type of stuff. The sort of vaporwave retro future. 80s future that never came to be sort of idea, instead of the that fucking thing in my pocket that's vying for my attention every fucking 10 seconds and I can't get anything done. It's fucking vying for my attention right now.
See?
Yeah, it seems more interesting.
Yeah.
That future, that dark, gritty cyberpunk sort of future seems more interesting than, the sort of like dystopia of people walking around with their head in a screen.
Yeah.
It's a boring dystopia.
Yeah.
It's just so separated. Yeah.
It's so utterly, would you say separated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say disconnected.
Yeah. Same.
Bad.
And then in the like cinema space, there are some more modern movies or shows or whatever that the story can't be fucking told without there being like floating text message bubbles from characters, and just like I just like not having to deal with that kind of stuff. It's just nice to just watch something that it's not even a figment of the imagination because they have no idea that it's coming. So
yeah.
This is
Well, I like
1995. This is arguably like before people were really text messaging each other, because text messages were still like $1 a piece or something.
Right.
I remember a time where it was like barely anyone text message stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I didn't even have a cell phone yet.
I'm with Ben. I didn't have a phone either. Not until like 99, I think.
Yeah, like the late 90s. So
yeah, I don't know. Like just kind of hovering around what you guys were saying, like the idea of everything operating in physical reality, number one, and having to be in yourself and deal with yourself, and not constantly have the security blanket of the phone there.
Yeah,
I like that. I think my high level on this movie is, as a first time viewer, it's a good movie and it's got great players in it. And I think we're all huge Catherine Bigelow fans. I am.
totally.
I think she's one of the most underrated directors of the last 30 years. But it's, I don't know. I wanted it to be a little bit more. I think it could have been a little bit more. Like the whole idea of the squid and that technology seemed like it was many stories up higher than the rest of the surroundings in terms of like the world they created and the tech, and I felt like it didn't really match very well. Not that I needed to have like, virtual bullshit and floating screens and, smartphone type of thing, but just like a little more window dressing, I felt like was needed because it just looked like 1995. Like it didn't, like if they were trying to create like a vision of the future, I feel like they should have just done a little bit more. Like they didn't need to make cars like the 6000 SUX, like from RoboCop or anything like that. But, just a little bit more dressing, I think would have been better. I think that was part of my problem with the movie. I think it was well acted, but I don't know. The story was good, but it just, I wasn't totally wrapped by it, and I don't know why that is. I think it might be because, as we've explored in other films, this movie probably had a lot of devices, story devices, plot elements, that were new at the time, or it even maybe created a couple, but they've been used so many times since that we've all seen them. So when you go back and you watch a movie like this, you're kind of like, oh yeah, well, that's been done, like this is kind of boring, that kind of thing. So I don't know, like that's what I mean by aspirational. Like I think this movie could be even more amazing than it is with a little bit more dressing and backdrop. I did like how they shot it all at night, and the Y2K nostalgia was definitely cool. Like I didn't really think about that much until you guys brought it up, but Yeah, it just needed a little bit more set dressing. It's almost like doing a theater production on a bare stage with nothing, not even black box. Like, I don't know. That's sort of what I got from it.
Yeah, it's reasonable. I don't necessarily have an issue with the it looked like the 90s kind of thing. I kind of feel like they were going for like a falling society as opposed to a fallen society, and like I don't really think they wanted it to be a sci-fi movie per se. I just think they used a sci-fi tech device as a drug substitute.
I'm with it.
And that tech device allowed for, some of the plot mechanics.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I think at the time, I probably would have been pretty pumped if it had Blade Runner-y kind of a little bit of futurism in it. But looking back on it, I don't know if it needed it. But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, not even to that level. Like, I'm not asking for a lot here. Like, that's part of the thing. I don't want to change the tone of the film. I don't want to change the time period of the film. I don't want to make it seem like, because the film takes place in 99 and it's 1995 when it came out. So a 4-year jump. I'm not suggesting that like in 4 years all this incredible technology came out. I just think a little bit more in the sense of world building would have done this movie a lot of justice, because it had all the other component parts like Catherine Bigelow, Ralph Fiennes, all these fantastic actors. The script is pretty good. So that's really what I meant. I certainly wouldn't want to take it to like even half close to a Blade Runner level or half of a Blade Runner level.
I kept thinking to myself that it seems strangely mismatched that, they have this technology to record experiences directly from the brain, but nothing else has really changed. But then I just thought about again, to go to the fucking smartphone thing, even now in 2021, it doesn't really look that much different, compared to the 90s, even say, fashion aside.
Well, fashion's coming back to the 90s now, so you're probably more right now than recently.
It's more 90s than the 90s.
So I guess it's not
at the moment. I see a lot of people.
Yeah, but I guess my point is that it's not. It seems really mismatched, but then I thought about it. I'm like, I guess that's sort of how things actually really are, though. Yeah. That being beside that, it seems to be this weird like black market. It's like, Lenny's like a drug dealer, like with his, magic tapes, or mini discs, as it were. I don't know. You kind of derailed me there, but I think I made my point.
I think I feel the same way. I think like I hadn't thought about it as being out of sorts until you mentioned it a minute ago, Kev, and I think my reaction was similar to yours, Ben, where it was like, nah, that's actually pretty in keeping, and if you delete the smartphone from everyone's pockets, it's not that different nowadays than it was.
No, it's
like the internet is the main difference, but the internet is not in the real world per se, so it's more experiential. But I think maybe there's a decent segue in here into the squid tech, because it was super interesting, especially in 99 when early 20-something watching this for the first time, being a sci-fi nerd, the idea of experiencing other people's experiences is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool plot device, and then the first-person aspect of it cinematically was relatively novel at the time.
The backstory behind the tech is cool too. I just want to quickly, if I said this already, just we can delete it later. But I that was another one of my gripes or whatever, was that just the squid tech was so advanced, and like to have nothing else even close to that I just thought it was a little bit weird. That being said, very cool tech for sure.
Yeah.
That it was developed to use in place of a mic for for like drug busts and stuff, like
for like the feds.
Yeah, like it just seems kind of silly to me. Like like if you once you know that's there, it's like everybody that's coming into the room, you're like checking to see if they're if they're wearing a hat, or checking to see if they're wearing a wig, or whatever. Yeah. Like so, yeah. But
all the drug dealers would just be like, everyone has to have a shaved head. Problem solved.
Exactly.
Right, but everybody, I mean, they said it was for undercover surveillance or like to replace a body cam. So on the flip side of that, like you might not necessarily know. Like anybody could be wearing one, and unless they had really, really short hair, you might not necessarily know. So you'd be in a situation where it's like, well, who's to say that everybody isn't wearing one? So I could be being recorded by multiple people. You know what I mean? No?
Yeah, but I think Benny's coming at it from the like Scarface, everyone's in a hotel room looking at briefcases full of coke and money. It's like everyone in the room has no fucking hair because I said so.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
That was the impression that I got. Like that was why they developed it, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm wearing one right now. I'm making a new tape. It's
yeah,
the
exactly.
experience of unwillingly being awake to do a podcast in the morning. It's gonna be it's gonna be a number one hit.
Yeah. Does anyone want to experience staring at a microphone for an hour?
Just looking over a microphone, scratching my nuts, croaking into the mic.
They're lovely nuts, Benny. So
like Martin Silenus after a 20-year nap.
That's it. Sorry, Martin who?
Oh, sorry, Martin Sipenis.
Thank you.
Just without the benefit of Poulsen treatments.
That's it.
Oh yeah, right about now.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it. The camera stuff is cool though. Like I didn't know just how much the crew did to make the first person stuff possible, and how much work James Cameron did as well. But it's pretty cool. And to your earlier point, Kev, of maybe there were some tropes that were developed here that were used a million times elsewhere. I think this would be like the key one.
Was the first person situation?
The like ability to do plausible first person and the tech that they developed to do it, which wasn't like super fancy. It was just like, making a super compact camera and creating a rig for it. But still, it's impressive that they spent, a year doing R&D to try and make it work.
That's really impressive considering how poorly this movie did too.
Yeah, it's a shame. It completely
it
bombed.
is a shame. No, it's a real shame, man. And a little more money in the budget, I think, would have done it a lot more justice too.
Yeah, it was like $42 million or something.
Yeah, and it didn't even make that back.
Yeah, I guess it torpedoed her career for a long time too.
Which is unfortunate. Well, not a long time. Oh, she had already done Point Break at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 6 or 7 plus years before I think anything of substance came her way again. And then I don't know much about the in-between, but it wasn't really until The Hurt Locker that people kind of started recalling the talent.
I remember that, yes.
That's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
Really? It's really good.
No, I know that was like the movie that kind of catapulted Renner into the stratosphere.
Yeah, totally. What did you think of the noir-y kind of stuff in this one? You're a big noir fan, Kev.
I am.
Did it hit the notes, or was it a little bit too meh?
It's kind of like, just filming something at night doesn't make it noir. It's like...
Nah, but it had the kind of good girl, bad girl, kind of trope. Mm-hmm. The girl in white, the girl in black kind of thing.
The bones of it were there for sure. I don't think the execution was all that great. It's like a science fiction movie. You can't just like throw a bunch of like wiring and junk around like they did in the 80s, and then you're like, oh, it's the future. It's science fiction.
Sci-fi.
It's like it's not. It's like, well, we're going to film it at night, so that's going to make it noir. It's like, no, that's not going to make it noir. Noir is a little bit more than just that. It's like how shadow and light is used in the filming, at least back in the 50s, that was the big thing. And but it's also the story. I mean, the characters were probably the most noirish thing of it, but the look of it itself and the dialogue and some of the action and story points definitely did not hit the noir thing for me. I think it was a good attempt and the bones were there, but not so much. Because I kept reading, like the few things I did read about it was like, oh, it's like a neo-noir cyber thriller. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling the noir. Sorry.
I don't know if that's what they were going for, to be fair. I think that's something that people have attributed to it.
That's fair.
Yeah, and you may very well be right, dude.
It's got the elements for sure. I don't know if I feel quite as harshly about that aspect as you do, but I can also kind of see what you're saying, Kev.
Yeah, no. I'm with you 100%. I think you're right. Actually, it was like an add-on later on. Like you look at a movie like Rounders. That's a contemporary movie, actually a '90s movie as well, I think, and that is a very noir film. It hits all the right points, even when it's shot in the daylight. This isn't quite there, and again, like you said, I don't think it was intended to be, maybe, and people just started kind of putting that label on it because people just got to put labels on everything.
Yeah. You often hear that about music where, a certain group will be known as like the key group in a certain genre. And they'll be like, what do you think about this genre you're part of that these random, and they're just like random people just said we were the creators of this genre. Like, we don't buy that. It's the same kind of thing. Like we don't attribute ourselves to that at all. It's totally the outside perception. So fair enough.
Yeah, no, that's a good point and a interesting conversation.
You mentioned world building earlier and how they did a reasonable job in certain parts and maybe not in other parts. And I think one of the places they did a good job was the kind of Jericho 1 kind of quasi Malcolm X-ish, quasi Tupac Shakur-ish.
Quasi, what's his name? The guy from L.A. and the Rodney King kind of. In a sense.
Sure. Yeah. Like it definitely hit those mid-90s notes, and I think like the kind of kettle's about to boil over kind of LA vibe. I kind of dug that part of the world building. What did you guys think of that stuff?
I think the Jericho 1 stuff was probably the best world building, some of the best world building in the film. I'll leave it at that for a second.
I agree. However, the made up music of Jericho 1 was not fantastic.
No, it was pretty shit. Yeah.
I was like, wow, this guy's popular.
Yeah, not uncommon in movies where the fake the fake rock stars' music's pretty shit. It kind of wasn't until like a Scott Pilgrim where like the fake music was written by good artists and actually was pretty good. So you definitely right.
Yeah. Well, let's. Should we kind of segue onto the music for a second?
Sure. They took it quite seriously, man.
They did, and I will say that I did appreciate the amount of energy they put into the music. And the music was very, very 90s, dude.
No doubt.
It was great in that sense. Just a lot of angsty mosh rock and,
And some actual bands of the time were performing in various scenes and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In regards to Jericho 1, I just feel like they could have put a little more energy behind his music, even like Juliette Lewis, like singing a PJ Harvey song was, like kind of, the character of Faith being like a rock star or whatever was sort of a little more creditable than like what was, what was passing for hip hop and Jericho 1's case. Like, it only shows up like once. There's like a little blurb of like a video, like they're watching a video or whatever. I'm just like, wow, this sounds like super duper like the worst fucking runoff from like super duper early rap, like the dude that used to open for the dude that used to open for Kurtis Blow or something. It's just...
you know what it kind of has a feel of, dude, when in Half Baked, when Chapelle is playing Samson as well as himself in the movie, and they show like the Samson video. It's just super low rent, it's supposed to be, and it's funny, and all he talks about is weed, but that's what it kind of had, that kind of feel to it a little bit.
I definitely agree. There's no argument there. And you have later hip hop artists able to weave some pretty awesome social criticism into their hip hop, but I don't know. Like, I was forgiving of this because it was a movie, which I'm sure you guys were too. And then it kind of had like a Revolution Will Not Be Televised Gil Scott-Heron vibe, where it was more of like a spoken piece instead of like a hip hoppy piece. But it was kind of funny. It was like, everyone in the bar, be quiet. Jericho 1's gonna spoken word rap at us. It was just like, that's just super not plausible at all. But
I agree.
It was pretty funny. Been very few times in my life where everyone's been shushed at a bar to watch something on the fucking TV, and a hip hop fucking song on MTV was not one of those times.
Yeah, I'm with you on the spoken wordy kind of thing. I don't know. He didn't really, they didn't, I don't know, mold him right as a cultural leader. You know, it was like, if I'm reading what you're saying right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't spend a lot of time. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a chunk of Jericho 1 stuff on the cutting room floor, just, as happens in these kind of things. But he was
Well,
plausible enough. He was plausible enough
no,
to
he
get
was,
the point across in the Rodney King LA kind of, like, this is of the time. This is before Tupac and Biggie were killed, so there's a little early for that. But like, there's definitely like a little bit of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King assassination vibes, political kind of stuff in there. So
and Rodney King, totally.
and Rodney King, which is very,
and this is very kind of fresh off the Rodney King thing, which was just a few years prior, you know. So
yeah, exactly.
But I think you're right. Like as a cultural kind of figure, I don't know, it wasn't quite done right, you know. And I think that Juliette Lewis cranking out those tunes, like that was super impressive. I continue to be incredibly impressed by her. I was never a big fan of hers when she started coming around, not for any particular reason at all, but as I've watched some films that have her in it, like mainly stuff we've done, I really appreciate her more and more as a creative talent. And this movie is a really great showcase of that, man. I mean, she's really singing all those songs and does a really damn good job. I mean, that's one of your very kind of noiry tropes right there, is the kind of semi-tough dame, you know, who's like a singer at a nightclub, but it's set in the kind of
the caged bird kind of
kind of quasi cyberpunk world of 1999.
Yeah.
Did you just transform into Philo Gant there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Shit, maybe I did. Yeah, that was the other thing that bothered me about this movie is, dude, when Michael Wincott's in the house, I want to see Michael Wincott, dude. Don't tease me with like a interview on TV and a couple of scenes, dude. I want Wincott. I mean, let's be real here. The guy is just awesome.
What else do I know him from? Because I know him from some stuff.
Oh, man, The Crow.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
He was in The Count of Monte Cristo.
That's where I know him from.
Actually a pretty damn good adaptation.
That's a great adaptation, man.
Right? Of a classic story, man. Really well done. Jim Caviezel, Guy Pearce, love that movie.
Yeah, me too. That's a great rendition.
A little nugget about that. The babe in that movie is Patrick Wilson's wife.
Who the fuck is Patrick Wilson?
Patrick Wilson, of course, played the Night Owl in Watchmen.
There you go.
And about a zillion other movies.
Everybody Kev's Nugget.
That wasn't Everybody Kev's Nug, sorry. Sorry, folks at home.
On Juliette Lewis, like, I agree that she was awesome in this, and I like her as an actor, but I definitely kind of, this is, definitely armchair fat guy who's never acted opinion here, but like, there doesn't seem to be a ton of range, which I don't necessarily see as a problem. But I was just like thinking about, I was like, who else kind of has that same kind of vibe? And Woody Harrelson kind of has that vibe. Like, he's always kind of the same, which is ironic considering Mickey and Mallory Knox. But like, she generally kind of plays very similar stuff, but she does it well. Like, she did really well in this. She's perfectly cast for this particular role. So I don't know.
I think I know where you're going with that. I don't know. If you see like White Men Can't Jump and then watch True Detective, like, I don't know if you'll think that way about Woody. Maybe not.
I mean, maybe it's just like a music analogy where like Freddie Mercury can sing fucking 4 or 5 octaves. Like Woody Harrelson's got 2. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean he sucks. It's just like the range is different. And so, yeah, you're right. Like White Man Can't Jump versus True Detective is probably the left and right hand side of his range. But other actors maybe have different range.
Yeah.
People versus Larry Flint. I mean,
yeah, dude, Larry Flint. There you go.
That's true. All right, I'm full of shit, but
I don't know that Woody's. We brought up Woody the other week when you were talking about Wood Harris, and I was like, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I like Woody. I love Woody Harrelson.
I think I don't know. We're kind of tramping all over your point, but
I think it's worth tramping on the point because I think like there are different styles of actor, or maybe like some actors are known for range and some actors are not known for range, and like it doesn't mean they're good or bad because of that. It's just I just can't recall a time where I've seen Juliette Lewis do something that wasn't really a Juliette Lewis-y role, and maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
Yeah,
she
definitely
was
get
great
what
in
you're
this.
saying about Juliet. There's like, I forget who it is. Somebody does an impersonation of Juliette Lewis in Cape Fear, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's kind of Juliette Lewis in every movie.
Exactly.
But I still like her.
I love her. She's great.
I love her too, man. I think she got pigeonholed like around that time, like the Cape Fear time of playing this kind of dumb little girl, sort of like, and that's how she kind of was in California too, you know, which, you know, it's tough because then all of a sudden you're, you know, it's like, this is, what do? You know what I mean? It's like you hope you get another film that'll give you the opportunity to do something different that'll break you out of that. You know what I mean? I mean,
gotta make a living.
Let's also keep in mind that she was in Christmas Vacation as well.
Yeah.
Which I forgot about until just a second ago. But just going back to Woody for a second, I feel like Costner is kind of more what you're describing, Chad, than Woody Harrelson. You know, like they're both in the Highwaymen, which is a movie about trying to catch, I think, Bonnie and Clyde on Netflix. It's actually pretty good. You should check it out. But I think that he's more like that, and that Juliet is a little bit like that too, in that sense of kind of sameness. I mean, look, you have method actors like Gosling. Really, Jared Leto is the best example of that. Gary Oldman is a really great example of a method actor.
You want to talk like Freddie Mercury range, like Gary Oldman, Daniel Day-Lewis. Like there are people out there, man, that just like, you know, like a Meryl Streep, or there's plenty of actors that have just fucking ridiculous range. But it doesn't mean that you need to have the range to be a good actor, I guess. But
well, no, I was actually going in a different direction. I was trying to bolster your own point by saying that, like, you know, you got like a Leto who's like a heavy duty method actor, but there's so many ways to get there, man, you know, and there's many different schools of thought on acting, you know, like in theater, like Sanford, Meisner, and, you know, it's really just about give and take, like action and reaction, you know, it's just that simple. And, you know, there's other approaches where it's like the thought is that everything you need is right there in the script on the page. You don't need to, you know, turn into a crocodile person and act that way for 8 months while you're on set. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, I'm kind of bolstering your point and defending her a little bit and saying that, like, it's not that she's incapable or the same. It's just different approaches, you know?
yeah.
And maybe she's never gotten anything that really, really pushed her to stretch.
Sure.
Or maybe she's listening to this right now and thinking, man, I really should do something that makes me stretch as a performer.
Maybe she's listening to this right now saying, fuck you guys.
Yeah, exactly. We love you, Juliet.
Well, I guess the flip side of that is Ray Fiennes, which I have to say, watching this a couple weeks back, like, I didn't dislike him in this, but I don't know if it was a fantastic casting. He was a little bit European for me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I was a little out of whack on that. I'm curious how you feel about him as the lead. You guys feel about him as the lead?
I'm curious who you like. What do you mean? Who would be better?
I don't know.
All right, okay.
I'm gonna snipe what you're probably about to say. Where
we'll open that to the both of you.
Bigelow saw Pulp Fiction and then wanted to cast Travolta in the role, which I don't think would have been great, but it was an interesting thing.
I don't know, Travolta at the time. That
yeah. It was like just after Pulp Fiction. Travolta, she was like, she saw him in Pulp Fiction, was like, I want to get him for this, which I don't agree with, but that's an interesting kind of nugget.
What?
1 second, sorry.
Yeah, eject.
Nope, I'm just fixing something here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the sliminess of Lenny is well done here. He just, I don't know. I want to say he doesn't feel like West Coast American enough, but
there's something missing, dude. And
it's a subtle thing, though.
Yeah, I agree, dude. It's you know, like Ralph Fiennes is, you know, arguably one of the greatest actors of the last
Yeah,
30
man, he's a
years. I mean,
great
the
actor.
guy's iconic, man. I mean, Bond movies, like he's done everything, but this particular role, I think he was miscast. And I mean that in the most like complimentary way. Like he's great. I just don't think that he was not the right guy for that part.
Just ejecting, which I'll take a death for to look up some 90s actors. A couple of them that are Ed Norton or Nick Cage would have been interesting. Nick Cage probably wouldn't have worked in this case. It was like right around face-off time, but Ed Norton probably could have done a good job.
I don't know about that. I don't know about Norton. I'm trying to think here. Who else to answer? I want to answer Benny's question.
I think he would have. I think he would have been a lot like Ralph Fiennes.
Norton?
I don't think Fiennes was like.
Yeah.
Fiennes wasn't a bullseye. I think Fiennes was like just outside of a bullseye. I think pretty much every other actor in this movie was a bullseye. Like Sizemore was fucking great. Lewis was great.
Agree. Bassett was great.
Angela Bassett was fucking fantastic. Like one could argue pretty strongly that she was the lead, like
no question,
the strong lead character, and Fiennes was the broken fuck up sidekick.
Yeah, she's the hero, and Fiennes is the damsel, in distress.
Yeah,
as it were. I don't know. I mean, I think I kind of like knowing Ralph Fiennes and the other roles that he's done. I kind of like seeing him in this because it's sort of fair. Uncharacteristic, or because perhaps he was miscast. I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah, I'll buy that. I kind of like when I watched it a few weeks back, I thought that when I watched it this time, I was like, yeah, no, he's pretty good. I'm just gonna throw the '90s Brendan Fraser in there because it's funny.
Ooh, '90s Brendan Fraser in that role?
Just because why not?
Because why not? Totally. Blast from the Past.
Because I like Brendan Fraser.
I like Brendan Fraser too, and I'm a big fan of the movie Blast from the Past, which nobody else seems to like. I think it's really good and really funny. And it would have been great to see that Brendan Fraser character in this movie. Have you seen that movie?
I don't know if I have.
I Walken in it.
Joke is lost on me. Sorry.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry. We'll skip it. I did, in my reading, I came across that Andy Garcia and Bono were considered for the role of Lenny.
Dude, Bono would have fucking destroyed this movie.
Bono would have completely, not only would he have deep sixed Catherine Bigelow's career, it would have buried it a mile under the earth, and she never would have even come up for the Hurt Locker.
Dude, if Bono was Lenny in this, there wouldn't have been a Juliette Lewis character, and Bono would have been doing U2 songs on stage halfway through this fucking movie with his glasses.
Yeah, then maybe The Edge could come out and talk about Mephisto Bono and how mischievous he is, because that would have helped this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think, but The Edge would have knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, Andy Garcia, just thinking about that for a second, maybe I could see Andy Garcia, maybe.
I don't know, like a little Italian dude that just like doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. He's a little too like clean. I don't know. Lenny needs to be greasy.
I think we should back out of this cul-de-sac before we start hypothetically talking about every actor of the era. But I just it's an interesting kind of thought exercise because like
how about Matt Lillard or Dick Ritchie?
The entire cast of Hackers plays the role of Lenny.
The entire cast of Hackers and Dick Ritchie.
Angelina Jolie as Lenny.
Okay. So I'm driving.
I don't know.
We back at Rappaport.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dick Ritchie.
Rappaport might be good here.
I bet you Rappaport could do it.
Rappaport could do it, man. I think I'm on your motorcycle now, Benny. I think you've convinced me with the point of giving Ray Fiennes something this sleazy is really great for Ray Fiennes, and to see him do something a little bit sleazy. So I'm on your motorcycle. I retract my statement.
Wow, I forgot that he was Voldemort.
Yeah. There was a cool nugget about him with Voldemort where he was saying like he knew he got the look and feel of Voldemort right when some kids saw him in dailies and got like absolutely terrified. He's like, yep, got it.
Wow. That's really cool.
He's fucking great in Grand Budapest Hotel, dude. That is such a great Wes Anderson movie.
I did like that movie. I saw it. I don't know if I saw the whole thing, but I saw like half of it once, and I was like, "Wow, this is good." Dude, this movie was it was a $42 million budget. It only made $8 million in the U.S.
Yeah, completely bombed. It shouldn't have bombed as bad as it bombed. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened there.
I don't either, man.
In the Ray Fiennes tip here, I think there's like an interesting little movie related part where I really enjoyed the Lenny and Angela Bassett as Mace relationship where, you know, she shows up in the limo and he's being a schmuck, and then you kind of find out later they've got a bit of a thing from the past, and then it kind of culminates where he is trying to convince her to go to the party, and he's like, "Have you ever loved someone and they didn't, you know, love you back?" And she's like, "Fucking yeah, doofus." You know, like I just there was a really great element to that pairing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. There was. I didn't give that enough credit when I was watching it, but you're right.
It touches Benny's point too of the Mace is the
Yeah.
hero and Lenny's the damsel, like, and it culminates in the kiss at the end. So it's just I don't know. Without Angela Bassett's character, it would have been a much flatter movie. So maybe it's more of a transition to her. But
No, I mean she's Angela Bassett. I mean, she's one of the great American actors. There's no question about it. I agree with you. That's a really good point about their dynamic. I didn't think about that, and you're right. It definitely brings a lot to the movie, and the kind of the switcheroo of the kind of roles, you know, is makes that work nicely. I'm with you there.
Yeah, the movie, I mean, it's to good effect, I think, but the movie definitely telegraphs pretty hard how Mace feels about Lenny.
yeah,
And he's just so, like, he's so wrapped up in faith that, like, he is just blind to it 100%.
and like Lost Puppy falling apart as well. Yeah.
Yeah, he is definitely the
Yes.
lost puppy. Like, yeah, he got that part down.
Definitely got that part down.
I know we're trying to talk about Angela Bassett here, but that was one of the things about the Lenny character that, again, it didn't make sense to me because apparently he's an ex-cop.
Yeah,
Like, how is an ex-cop such a,
sleaze.
not in the face, kind of wimp, like,
Yeah.
like, oh, if you got to rough me up, just don't punch me in.
It's not above the neck. Tell Bruce. It's funny though.
One would think you would have a little more game than that. Yeah, if he was a
Totally.
cop,
But it's like that. It's like the trope that like the only way that any character in any story can ever figure out a clue is if they're an ex-cop. It's like if you're not an
Oh
ex-cop,
my
you
God.
just won't pick up on a clue because only cops can figure that out. Which is just, it's kind of funny. It's kind of tropey in a way.
No, it's great, and it is tropey, and I think that you're bringing up a really good point, Benny. He should be a little bit slicker, man. It's like it was a little too heavy on the sleaze. Like you can't just throw in that he was an ex-cop, and then for him to be such a puppy dog and such a sleaze. Like I don't know, like cops. That job will give you an edge, and he didn't have that edge.
No.
Like
Sizemore telegraphed the edge for sure.
Yeah, he did. But like, somebody that was an ex-cop would have that kind of edge. So they would have almost a leg up on the rest of the criminals because they kind of know both sides of it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
would be a slicker operator, like Lenny's just kind of, excuse me. Lenny's just kind of all over the place, It's just like, oh, yeah, I forgot to pay my car payment, and like my apartment's a mess, and like all of this stuff, and he's just like he's somewhat of a flock of seagulls, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
Lenny.
it doesn't work that well, certainly for an ex-cop. Like he makes a couple of references to being an ex-cop in terms of what he's doing and what he's saying. One of them being when he, runs into the deputy director or whatever at the beginning, but I don't know. It's just not the fit isn't right. That's a really good point, Ben.
I think Lenny, you could argue he would have been better off being like an informant that, he was like an informant criminal that Sizemore befriended, you almost see him more as a fuck up criminal and Sizemore as the cop, in a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they all of that, his past as a cop was telegraphed, including his, his connection to Mace, she likes him because he was nice to her son.
Yeah.
Right. When he was a cop. So I mean, they could have if they just added this little bit, he was a cop, but he was just like a tech that handled the squid apparatus or whatever, he was more like a forensic cop rather than like a detective or you know what I mean? That would have explained it quite well. And they just they didn't bother,
That would have gone a long way to repairing what they had, because it definitely wasn't right.
Especially all the Rolex shit and the tow truck guy and all that, he was a bit of a wet blanket.
Yeah, that was a little weak sauce, man.
I mean, I liked it, but it just, like you said, Benny, it doesn't represent an ex-cop. It represents a ex-tech or an wet blanket.
No, I just think the characters, it's not structured right or well. That's what it kind of comes down to for me. Who is the chick that died at the beginning?
Prostitute that was friends with Juliette Lewis's character, I believe. Ivy? Was it Ivy? Iris. Man, the poor girl. The poor girl's fucking IMDb photo. You guys actually need to open this up.
Who? Which girl? Bridget Bacco?
Bridget Bacco's IMDb portrait is her dead with a rapist opening her eyes from that movie.
Oh, Jesus. That's awful.
It is awful, man.
It's got to be
from this movie?
Algorithm. Yeah, it's when she was raped to death by Sizemore, and then he opens her eyes at the end and he leans in so you can see his reflection in her iris.
Oh my God. Yeah, right. That was pretty
it was an intense scene, man. But the obviously it's an algorithmically driven portrait, because that's pretty wild.
Oh my God. Yeah, the hands. Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely tough to sit through.
It was. I really am not a fan of those types of scenes for the obvious reasons. In this particular piece of fiction, it really, I think, drove home the seriousness of the story and the situation. So, I don't know, it was almost rarely is it worth even doing something like that, in my opinion, a lot of the time. And in this one, I was kind of you know what, that was rough, really fucking rough, but it really helps tell the story. So I don't know if you guys agree, but
it was sort of a showpiece for the first person filming, really.
Yeah, I guess.
As far as being able to create a very intense scene with it, but yeah, I don't know. It was
it's rough.
It was rough. Yeah. Regardless, however, drove the story, or I had a hard time getting through it.
Fair enough.
On this watching,
I think that was good for the movie, though. I agree with you. It was tough to watch that, but it was good to have something like that well done for the movie. Is that, you know what I mean? In the sense that it's lending credence to the film and the story. You know what I mean? Or am I just out on a limb on my own?
Well, talking about the scene in general is kind of rough to begin with. So it's a treading lightly kind of conversation, but the nature of the sequence where the killer puts the squid on the victim and kind of that feedback loop thing, that's an extra layer of kind of holy shit, I guess. That drives home the tech, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, that's kind of the super twisted part, is throwing the squid on the victim, man,
and they're obviously trying to ratchet the tension for the big twist.
Yeah,
but
right. But see, it's elements of this movie that that I are really good. I mean, as dark as rape is, it serves the film well. You know what I mean? And it was done properly. And the idea of putting the squid on the victim's head and the perp's head, there's something really cool there. That's why my thoughts about this movie are aspirational. You know what I mean? Because there's some really great ideas, and it was they needed the lead character to be a little bit different, and then dress it up a little bit more, and you've got something even better. Really good, really good.
Were you about to say something a second ago, Benny?
Yeah, I was going to say when I was watching it this time, I realized that I have this weird bias towards Tom Sizemore
Really?
because of this movie and because of that scene.
Right.
like instead of, it's funny because it's not, it's not correct, but like, through watching it, I was like, oh, Tom Sizemore, you fucking scumbag. It's like, no, it's his character, Max, but like.
Totally. I know what you mean.
I think we've talked about that before, where you like, when you're younger or whatever, you watch somebody and you're just like, oh, that guy, I don't like that guy.
I fucking hate that guy. He was really good in the movie where he was a bad guy. I kind of, it's kind of obvious, but I didn't really realize just how important that Iris rape murder scene was in the reveal at the end. Like, without that sequence explaining and showing the horror of a rape sequence where the person is fed back into their own mind, the end scene with the same thing happening to Juliette Lewis, it wouldn't have had the same effect, maybe. So like it really kind of is a callback to that scene so that the reveal is more punchy, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think so.
Well, I mean, Lenny's like, struggling through trying to watch it to figure out what happens.
And exposition so that the audience knows what's happening. He's in the back telling you what's happening so that the audience learns.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that when you experience Juliette Lewis being strangled and having the thing put on her, you're like, oh no, this is going to happen again. But it's like, no, it's a sex act and she actually loves him and it's Tom Sizemore. Oh my God. So.
Speaking of wigs.
Yeah, I was going to say, we need to devote a special section to the wig work in this movie.
Oh, really? You want to have a hair section, Kev? That's not like you.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Did you go to Blaine Hair and Beauty School at some point or something? You're all about the
whoa, nice name drop.
Nice Blaine reference. Good luck finding a link to that, Benny.
Nice plug for Blaine there. Whether you want it or not, Blaine, there you go.
There it is.
Yeah, I wasn't buying Sizemore with the long hair.
No, it was weird.
Ever.
No, I wasn't either.
Ever.
Man.
I remember one thing I remember like watching it, way back in the 90s was like, dude, I'm not buying him with that long hair. And then it's funny, it turned out to be a wig.
I'm glad that it was a wig at the end because it was so. It wasn't just ridiculous. It was just a crappy wig too, man.
You know what it reminded me of is Brent Spiner from Independence Day. He had that kind of wig going on. Do you remember that?
Brent Spiner from Independence Day. Oh my God, right? Dr.
Dude,
Oakham.
He totally has that same wig. Data
Kinda
with a
ringing a bell.
straight wig. What?
Why did you have to bring that movie up? I really dislike that movie.
Really? I liked that movie. I was so young when it came
We're not
out.
talking about that movie.
I'm going to pick it now.
I'm trying, Ben. It's just like Jeff Goldblum weird stuff. I'm not going to do it. I can't. I'm going to stop. I'm cool. Everything's fine.
Everything's okay? I'm down. I totally agree. The wig was total bullshit. And I didn't quite understand the whole, like, his wig getting ripped off and he's actually got a shaved head. Like, it's like a holy shit, I see dead people moment. I was like, I don't understand why that makes any difference whatsoever.
Like, what do you mean by that? I don't understand your comment. Sorry.
Well, it was kind of like, it's Tom Sizemore, holy shit. And then, like, I'm going to frame you, Rafe Fiennes, fucking ha ha ha. And then it's like, wait, I'm going to pull off your fucking weave, bitch. And you've been recording this whole thing. It's like, well, we know you've been recording the whole thing because you've been planting fucking mini discs around the place. So it was kind of a funny little thing,
So Scooby-Doo reveal.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right, yeah, there you go. Now that's the way to frame it. Let's see who you really are.
I'm surprised they didn't like go down the hallway and like chase each other in and out of,
Yeah, exactly.
adjacent doors.
Yeah. And then he hangs off of a balcony with his really...
go in on the right side of the hall and they come out on the left and like...
Yeah. And then one of them like runs on the ceiling or something. Or, yeah, in one door, out the other door. Yeah. And then they end up on a balcony with like a really, really chunky paisley tie. And he pulls the knife out of his own back, which was amazing. And he falls 40 stories and puts a very light dent in a van.
Max was like, "You're going to need this later when you're
I'm just gonna keep this
struggling
here
with me on the balcony."
Yeah. The impact on the van was not commensurate with the fall that guy took.
No, yeah.
Like, that's a very gripe of Kevy, but I was like, dude, no. He
Nah.
would have gone all the way to the floor of the van. It would have
Yeah.
been completely collapsed.
Yeah.
Especially a chunk of meat like size, you know.
I don't mean to bring this movie up again.
What?
But when Shredder hits the ground at the end of TNMT 2014, it was a better impact than this. So that's saying something. Let's segue back to TNMT.
The most amazing thing about that movie was how cathartic it was to our listeners that we did that movie.
Yeah.
And possibly the best thing about that movie. Yeah, I get it. You're right. It was a way better impact. So that's
Michael Bay's Megatron versus the Incredible Hulk.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man, that was brilliant.
That was great, by the way. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, you're right. And you're right. That impact was better. You know, that was like key. You know, they showed the stunt guy falling, and then they had size jump off, or another stunt man just like jump 3 or 4 feet and land on the
That's
van.
it.
It was like, okay,
got it.
Yep, not
Got
buying
it in one
that.
take, guys.
Sorry.
That's a wrap. Let's go home. So
we got it. Let's wrap.
got it, guys. This Ninja Turtles moment is actually a great segue into Shredder's apprentice as the buddy cop of Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Bill Fichtner, man.
Which
Gomer
I thought was
Pyle?
hilarious.
Oh, Private Pyle. Yes,
Private Pyle.
D'Onofrio in a very.
That blew my fucking mind. I was like, where the fuck do I know that guy from? And then after I watched the movie, I opened it up and was like, Gomer fucking Pyle. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, man. He was,
That was
Private
amazing.
Pyle, dude. That was like one of D'Onofrio's big, first big things, man. That really kind of launched him. I mean, he'll like everybody. Nobody will forget that scene, man, and that character.
Man. He was amazing.
Yeah, he's excellent. It's kind of a small. He doesn't have a hell of a lot of lines in this. I mean,
No.
he's definitely an intense, twisted cop. He's fucking amazing as Kingpin.
I was just gonna say that he is incredible as Kingpin.
Like that, nobody else can play Kingpin now. It's kind of like
Ever.
It's another iconic one. There is I can't think of his name, but J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, yeah. It's like he was like born to fucking do that role. Like
I agree.
D'Onofrio was born to play the Kingpin. Holy shit.
And he just like got into it. He beefed up, shaved his head, like incredible, man. I mean,
What was he Kingpin in? Which one?
Daredevil, the show, man.
Oh, I haven't seen the show.
Well, it's still on Netflix, man. You ought to check it out. All of them
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
And I would encourage, I mean, we kind of went down this road before. I would encourage any of our listeners out there, if you haven't watched any of the Marvel TV shows, watch them. They're way darker than the movies. They're and by that effect, a good measure better. And
That's cool.
D'Onofrio's Kingpin, like Ben said, phenomenal. Like just malevolent, man. What do you say, Benny?
Yeah. He's he just does it.
He does.
Sorry, I was hung up on being like I don't really give a fuck about the darkness part, but the series are really good.
I've been meaning to check out Daredevil. That's cool. I didn't realize that that's what it was.
If you're worried about the darkness turning you off, don't. They're excellent. Those series.
No, they're really, really good. I love the kind of street level heroes in those series, and they knit them all together nicely in the Defenders. Like it was really well done, that whole thing. It's a shame that it didn't get more accolades.
Yeah, and Iron Fist kind of sucked, but the rest of them.
Yeah, it was a little weak sauce. I don't know. I think
the Punisher wasn't great either. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great.
I heard that it was good. That's the only one I didn't watch.
It wasn't bad, but I wouldn't say it was good.
Yeah, I think the character of Danny Rand is a little like weak to begin with. Like that's my impression, is that what's his face was doing it as per the comics. I'm gonna shut up. We don't need to talk about this. You know what I mean, though, Ben?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I mean the Daredevil and Jessica Jones were actually my favorite ones out of the whole series.
Yeah,
but
same here.
I have
Luke
seen
Cage was
neither.
good.
definitely serviceable besides Iron Fist.
Yeah, I think Luke Cage was really good too. It had a really cool vibe to it. It had some really killer actors. Frankie Faison was in that, and it was it kind of had like this, kind of 70s kind of the Get Down kind of blaxploitation, but not blaxploitation vibe to it. That was just super cool, but in a modern setting. It just, I don't know, man. You got to give Luke Cage another look. I thought that was really pretty damn good.
Right on.
I thought it was great.
Right on.
Out of all of them, I liked Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Yeah, the best.
I agree. Those two were the best ones. You're right. So where the hell were we? Sorry, we just got it.
No, I'll check out Daredevil, Kingpin, D'Onofrio.
Sorry, I was just derailing us and then getting lost in my own bullshit.
Into the MCU.
Yet again.
Yeah, no, D'Onofrio can do this in this like really intense vibe, and it just really suits that character.
And he does it well.
Yeah.
Bill Fichtner too. Like, I've been a huge Bill Fichtner. I've been a huge Bill Fichtner fan for a long time. Everything I see him in, I love him in. He was great as the greasy little wormy dude in The Heat, and so good in Black Hawk Down and Ultraviolet and all that stuff.
He is awesome, man. He's like super recognizable. I just don't recall where I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
He's got a lot of good range, man. I like him a lot. Another great movie that Bill Fichtner did was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, Shredder's Apprentice. Did you see? Like, I know that this is please just say shut the fuck up. But did you see that he was actually supposed to play Shredder?
What?
And then they just brought the other dude in on top of him or something, like in a rewrite.
Fichtner was supposed to play Shredder?
Yeah, evidently, like one of the earlier scripts, it was like he was Shredder, and then like they just like plopped a different person on top. Like they were interviewing the gentleman that played Shredder, and he was like, "Yeah, evidently, it was supposed to be Fichtner, but then they gave me the role, and I was like, fucking, I'll do it." So, kind of, yeah. I don't think it would have done much to salvage the film, but.
You know what? I mean, as lame as that movie was, Bill Fichtner could have rocked Shredder well.
Cool.
Even dressed up as Megatron.
Kev, I think Benny's just being silent because he wants to just change the fucking subject.
Yeah, he does, and that's fine.
Shut up about the turtles.
All right, enough. Where the hell were we?
Maybe Richard Edson, who played Tick in this, would have made a better Master Splinter.
Ooh, yeah. I was totally getting the weird guy in the closet from Real Genius vibes from that dude.
Oh, Richard Edson, man. He
Yes.
plays. Okay, yeah, he's definitely got Laszlo-esque vibes going on, but he played, I don't know, I think one of his most memorable characters. This is so odd because it was such a small part, but he played the garage attendant in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, hell yeah.
I just never forgot him, man. And I think he has one line when he gives him that weird look and he goes, what country do you think this is?
Yeah, it's like, don't worry, man, I'm a professional.
Yeah, good.
Speaking of wigs, man, his wig in this one was a bit weird.
Who, Richard Edson?
Tick, man. Tick had just like, he's like he fucking took one of Jamie Lee Curtis's wigs and stuck it on his head and then put on a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
1 star for the wigs in this movie. I mean, god damn it.
The best wig would have to be the one that when he puts on the curly-haired rocker dude.
Yes!
In the bar.
The kind of soul glow
the dude's
wig.
got like curly slash hair, and he puts this like,
even curlier wig?
No, it's like a straight, spiky, like Tina Turner kind of hair thing, but it's just on the top of his head.
Yeah, he's like a
I'm thinking of a different
Tina
guy.
Turner yarmulke on.
I don't remember that one. I remember like there was like a guy in the bar and he was telling him to go have sex with this woman, and he had
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, is that the guy you're talking about? I feel like he had longish.
Yeah, he had like long curly hair, but he put like a mini wig on top of his hair to hide the
squid.
Whatever.
No, let's dig into this.
No, I'm with you, Ben. I'm with you, but I saw it differently, man. I saw him as like having slash hair, and then and then Lenny puts a full-on Gene Simmons wig on top of the slash hair to cover the squid.
Anyway.
Sorry.
I'm glad we resolved that. I apologize for bringing it up
No, I brought it up, actually.
on the wigs thing.
Speaking of things going up, let's wrap this up.
Whoa. You riding on
That
my
was
Segway
terrible.
there, bro?
You know what? I think that might be a death of Segway.
A Segway death? You're that guy that bought the Segway and then drove it off a cliff?
Yeah, that was a bad Segway death. We haven't had a death. Should we?
No,
is there
I
a death
ejected
or what?
earlier.
Yeah, whatever. We're sort of in bits and bobs territory here.
Yeah, I
so,
think, yeah.
my brain, my frontal lobe is starting to melt, and I'm starting to see and everything in like Dago psychedelic colors. So let's bring it home.
I'm with you, man. I'm not firing on all thrusters.
All right, bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs. What what do we like? What do we not like?
I propose one of the better bits is the Grievo nightclub set that he takes the Japanese businessman to.
Totally. Good call.
There are so many fantastic things in that entire nightclub. The like retinal club or whatever the fuck it was called. There's like cage dancers and people getting their nipples fucking grabbed by weird things. And then like for 5 frames, it cuts to a dude ironing a pair of pants, which I thought was the fucking best thing ever. It's just like S&M, some chick slapping a dude, like a bunch of people doing shots, like a band, a guy ironing pants, and it just like keeps going. And just, I just fucking loved it. It was great. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
it
that
or
is
not.
good stuff, man.
It was very 90s, a very 90s nightclub sequence.
I think just piggybacking on the top of that, this movie, one of the great things it had going for it was its 90s-ness. You know, as flawed as it is, and I think that this could be a really good movie with a little bit of tweaking. Like the 90s-ness of this movie was good. It was steeped in 90s, and it was good to see that, man. That part of it gave me a little nostalgia. Happy.
Mm-hmm. One thing that kind of caught me on this viewing, was just how fucking brutal a breakup would be in this universe, because you would totally do what Lenny did and just relive the memories and just get stuck in a loop of just despair. And watching him kind of like rollerblading, in LA with Julia Lewis, like post breakup, fucking with his tinfoil covered windows, drinking fucking whiskey. It's pretty rough.
Vodka.
Yeah, just rot gut. You get dumped and you just go and fucking watch your favorite memories. Ugh,
Tinfoil windows, man. God, you gotta love that.
it was great.
I mean, come on, dude. He lives outside of a neon sign that blinks on it, or like, next to a neon sign that blinks on and off. So he has to cover his fucking windows with tinfoil. That's as noir as it gets right there.
Fair enough, man. I just feel
That's
like
true.
the brutality of reliving your breakup after being dumped would just like drive you to insanity.
Yeah, I mean, it can kind of be like that without the allure of like, firing up a Minidisc to actually relive it anyway.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's already bad enough. Like, let alone
It's already bad enough.
being able to actually fucking relive it. It's just, be terrible. Anyways, it's a bit of a morose Bob, but there you go.
Yeah, that was a morose Bob.
Sorry.
And or
Bit.
that's all I really got, man, for bits and bobs. I kind of
Benny bits, Bob's scenes.
What was up with his buddy in the wheelchair with no legs that he gives the mini disc of like a guy running on the beach? Like, remember that part? Like, what the fuck was up with that?
Baywatch run.
I don't know.
Like, was there any larger reason for that scene? Like, I'm trying to remember and I can't.
It was the scene where he gets given the rape tape.
Oh, that's when he gets it right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So it was like, oh yeah, somebody left this for you.
Okay. I was kind of hoping that it was just this weird mismatched scene that had nothing to do with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I kind of, one of my things that I liked about that scene was like, it was so 90s where the fucking film projector guy in the back room, and he's just like, oh, at this moment of this 90s fucking angst song, I'm going to push play on this scene in this black and white movie. And he's just like, boom, hits the play button and is like so pumped with how he brought in that black and white projection on the background of the whatever song was playing, and I just thought it was funny as shit.
Yeah, I don't think it actually ever ended up really going anywhere. I don't know if there's anybody that really does it, but at one point, Pioneer made their decks in like a DVD version, and you could like live, I don't know, throw up video like while you were DJing as well.
It's so weird.
Like just in case you don't have enough to do with DJing, you can like stitch together like, films while you're at it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm sure Daft Punk could do a good job of it, but this is the 90s. Like, this is like 1995. Everyone would have been spinning records still. It's not even like mixing CDs yet. So it would have just been like, I don't know. It was just so 90s, man. Like cage dancers, dudes ironing pants, guys fucking mix mastering 50s black and white movies while like fucking Hole is on stage screaming,
Well, I was going to say, it's just like everybody's on stage shirtless and screaming unless they're a woman. And it's like just, mosh-tastic 90s craziness.
It's just great. But I liked Legless Guy. And I liked his little, custom-made Baywatch beach run. Especially the like breathy, like, hi, with the chick as she runs by. It's just great. It's just great stuff.
In one of the club scenes, I forget who's on stage, but like they shoot to the crowd and there's like a dude out there like clearly having a good time, skanking around, moshing. Like it's like it just stuck out. I was like, whoa, there's that guy right there.
That dude's having a good time.
Like people were kind of like getting into it. Like people were sort of like moshing a little bit, but like, there's like clearly one dude like trying to get the pit going, as it were.
Totally. I guess a lot of these music sequences were like actual parties.
Yeah.
The New Year's Eve sequence at the end, I guess Aphex Twin played at. Like they actually had a huge crowd, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, I think that was a real event. It was a real event.
Before you could digitally put a crowd on a city block and you had to fly around in a helicopter with actual people on the ground.
Oh my God. So horrible.
Right? Nuggets death ratings, or you all got any other bobs?
Please, Nuggets death ratings.
Or have you buried too many Batmans?
I have buried enough Batmans, and there's a death right there.
Yeah, Benny's dead. I killed him by saying Batman.
That's great. Nice job.
Welcome. Nuggets, James Cameron essentially edited a huge chunk of this movie, but couldn't get credit because he wasn't in the guild, which was interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a cool.
Wasn't in the union.
The guild.
The Guild of Calamitous Intent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one.
Nice. Maybe it was for this movie because his editing didn't save anything.
I'm
blogging.
It's like my all-time favorite Monarch line. Okay, Nugget. Here's a good one. Richard Edson was also a musician. He's done a ton of movies, but he was actually the original drummer for Sonic Youth. Talk about the 90s.
That is
I
90s.
thought that was pretty interesting.
And who is he? Is he in this or something? Oh, Tick.
Tick.
Wait, Tick was the drummer for Sonic Youth?
The original drummer for Sonic Youth, and he was the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Wow. That's an interesting nugget right there.
Wow. I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. I thought that was a really interesting one.
I like Sonic Youth.
Didn't listen to a whole ton of Sonic Youth. Anyway, go ahead, Chad. What else you got?
I have developed a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
That was so great. Nice job. Didn't see that coming.
I was hoping you wouldn't snipe this, but Angela Bassett yelling at Ray Fiennes at the end is the clip from the Fatboy Slim song Right Here, Right Now, which I thought was cool. And
no, I did not even read that.
When she yelled at him, Right Here, Right Now, I was like, that sounds a lot like Fatboy Slim, and turns out that's why it sounds like it.
Right. And what's positive about that?
It's like Stummies, but it's bigger. What don't
that
you
is
get?
really cool.
You just don't get it.
You just don't get it. Delivered a pill. That gives. Could it also give worms to ex-boyfriends?
Yes, it's a pill. It gives worms to
For
ex-girlfriends.
the world.
It's a pill for the world. I love how anytime we say any line from this movie, it's like 10 minutes of regurgitating it.
Well, we've cut pretty much all of it out of every other episode, so
Maybe we keep this in.
I don't know.
Here we go again.
I did drop a Grievo earlier with the nightclub. That was totally a Grievo nightclub.
We have mentioned Grievo before, too.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right. So just for the folks at home, for some clarity, that is from the movie Brain Candy, Kids in the Hall, Brain Candy, which the three of us are huge fans of. And I would suggest that you all watch it now because we are going to get to that movie.
It's much better than whatever the rest of this podcast is going to be.
If you've never watched it, I hope you like it.
You're never going to hear the end of it.
Nah, we'll just never shut the fuck up about it. Yeah, right here, right now. Flatboy Slim from this movie. Bada bang, bada boom.
Flatboy Slim?
Yeah, is fucking in heaven.
Flatboy Slim, is he related to Fatboy Slim?
Flatboy Sim.
Okay, here's a nugget. This I find very interesting. Are you done, Chad? Sorry.
Are you fucking done? Yeah, I'm done.
Is it a nugget?
It's a nug. I found this very interesting. So there was a critic, right, in 2009. I'm not going to say who it was. He wrote on his website that he considers, I'm quoting here, Strange Days an extremely underappreciated film and the best piece of cyberpunk to grace celluloid since Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. I don't know what kind of nugget this is exactly, but I couldn't disagree with that more.
No. I could see someone being obsessed with this movie and like it hitting the right spot for them, but
no, I know. Just
better than Blade Runner? Not a chance. Better than Hackers? Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But even occupying the same space as Blade Runner.
It's better than Johnny Mnemonic.
No. It's got things going for it. Johnny Mnemonic has things going for it. Just they don't have all the things they need going for it.
What do you consider the RoboCop series cyberpunk?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
I kind of feel like it classifies.
Kind of qualifies, I guess, but it's really more robots, dude. Like Cyberpunk isn't like...
I mean, it's cop robots.
You know what I mean? What's that?
I feel like people would say no, but I would sort of be inclined to agree with you and say that yes, it is. I think just like the tone of the RoboCop's movies.
Yeah.
RoboCop movies kind of...
Yeah, they're gritty ass, man.
Oh, they're gritty, totally.
But they're also sort of tongue-in-cheek and sarcastic and like, there's sort of a commentary going on.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure.
But even if RoboCop does not classify as a cyberpunk, I would say 12 Monkeys does, and that came out in 95, and that's definitely fucking better than this one, so that guy's full of shit.
No, that's not cyberpunk, I don't think, man. I see that, I don't know, I kind of divide them up differently in my mind, maybe, but...
Well, what's cyberpunk, then? Does cyberpunk have to be...
Well, cyberpunk to me is like Blade Runner, Johnny Mnemonic, the new Blade Runner, Matrix, like that stuff is cyberpunky to me, and then like, when I think about 12 Monkeys
and cyberspace and hacking and
exactly, man,
that kind of vibe.
Exactly, Westworld, like the newer
Heists
Westworld,
and shady characters, and
yeah,
12 Monkeys kind of fits.
I think 12 Monkeys is like I think of that movie as straight up time travel, like a great time travel movie too. I mean, it's almost as good as Time Cop.
Not gonna let that one go, huh?
I'm not. I love dropping it in there.
All right. Well, Ghost in the Shell then is better than this movie. So fuck that guy. I'm gonna keep naming. Okay. I'm gonna keep naming movies until you let me say fuck that guy.
Fuck what guy?
Nobody ever said
the critic.
He couldn't say fuck that guy.
Yeah. Well, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
You can say fuck that guy because that movie. His comment is ridiculous. This movie is not occupying the same space as Blade Runner. Like not even close. I'm sorry, Catherine Bigelow. I'm a huge fan. I am. Point Break. This movie is not close to Blade Runner.
No.
Next nugget. Or do you still need to continue your litany of hatred?
I got 2 nuggets, bro. I'm just going to keep naming cyberpunk movies that are not cyberpunk movies just because fuck me.
Do it, man. Can you throw a nugget out while you do that so we can keep going?
I'm done.
Okay, I got one more nugget.
I try and keep my nuggets to 2 nuggets in the old school tradition.
Okay. Is this the new? This is the new?
It's turning into the Kev's Nuggets thing.
Star Trek First Contact. That's a cyberpunk movie, right?
That's a cyberpunk movie, totally.
Yeah, it's got the Borg in it or whatever. The Borg, cyberpunk,
What's more cyberpunk than the Borg Queen? Come on.
right?
The Borg themselves are cyberpunk. Okay, here's my last nugget. Ben, this one's kind of for you. If you didn't see this, obviously the title of the film, Strange Days, is the title of a Doors tune. I'm a huge Doors fan.
Mm-hmm.
What's very interesting, though, is that in the track list, in the soundtrack for the film, the title track of Strange Days is performed by Prong and Ray Manzarek from The Doors, which I thought is so very cool because
That
I
is
love
cool.
Prong. And I know that you're down with Prong as well.
Prong.
Feeling that?
Yeah, haven't thought about them in a while.
Right? Go grab what is that damn album? Right to Nothing, I think. So good, man. Anyway, that's my last nug.
Prong,
Deaths.
bro. Prong. I don't know if I know Prong, but I like it. I like they got Manzarek in there. That's sick.
I think that's cool,
Deaths?
There's only 3, man. We each had one. It's a light death week here on the show.
Everybody did die.
Everybody did. So we're keeping to our namesake. Chad had an ejection death on, I don't even know what it was.
Actors for the lead role.
There you go. I had a horrible segue that was just poor,
I liked
which
it.
warranted a death. And then Chad killed Ben with a Batman reference.
Mm-hmm.
Bataranged again.
Bataranged again, dude. At least you didn't get Mulveranged. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, ho, ho. Ratings. Benny, it was your pick. You want to go first or last?
Oh, I'll go, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, this is, I don't know if it's a classic. I think it's decent. It's kind of forgotten. It's virtually impossible to watch, so it would be hard for me to recommend watching it. But if you can, I think it's worth a watch. It's definitely better than Hackers. It's definitely better than Johnny Mnemonic. So if you're in the mood for a very 90s kind of cyberpunk flick, try and find it and check it out. I'd give it like a 7.
Nice.
It's a nice score. Chad?
This one, it got, I like it. It's a good movie. It's firmly in 5 territory as a good movie. 6s are really good. It ends up at a 5.8. I think it actually was already there, and I didn't actually remember to jump in and change it, so I'm happy to leave it there. And it actually gets pipped at the post by Tank Girl, which came out the same year.
Ooh, that's a
which I think
cyberpunky
because
movie.
of how silly it was, for some reason I just liked it a little bit better, I guess.
Interesting.
There's another fucking 90s fest if you want to watch a 90s fest.
And what was the score on the algorithm?
5.8.
Wow, nice. This is a good movie. Not great. I think it could be really great with a little bit of work, I've already said it all. It's got a lot of good things going for it. It just doesn't quite get there, which is unfortunate. That being said, I'm gonna give it a 6, actually. I had a hard time choking this down.
Yeah. If you didn't remember the Sizemore twist at the end, then that to me says that you had never seen it before, because you would have totally remembered it at some point. So yeah, I totally get that a new watch wouldn't have been as enjoyable as a rewatch. I totally get that.
Exactly. I wish I had seen this years ago because I would have felt differently about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I wish that you actually enjoyed it more than you did, but it doesn't surprise me that as a first watch it wasn't that great. Like, I was kind of hoping you'd be like, yeah, no, that was cool, but I get it, and I think it's reasonable.
I kind of thought
like,
I was.
It was all right.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for seeing it in the 90s,
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Exactly right. This is kind of like watching, Johnny Mnemonic or some of those other films we mentioned,
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's that. Folks, thank you for joining us yet again for our 101th episode of In This Episode, Everybody Dies. I'd like to take a second and thank everybody for sticking with us through all 101 episodes. We really appreciate your fandom. Seriously. 2?
102.
102th Not 101th, 102th show.
Can you
Sorry,
say
folks.
thanks for sticking around for 102?
Folks, thanks for sticking around for 102 shows.
Perfect.
We so appreciate it. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate everything.
We appreciate you.
That's right.
We do.
Algorithm, tell these folks at home, what are we doing next week? I'm excited. What is it?
I am pleased to share that we will be doing Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yes.
Something nice and fun.
A masterpiece.
I don't know
Awesome.
if I've ever seen this movie. I think I have, but I don't know if I have. So I'm kind of pumped.
Are you for real?
I'm for
Galaxy
real.
Quest?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Oh, my God. All right. We got a little problem there. Tell you what.
Tell you what.
All right. That's it. Thanks for joining us, folks. Stay tuned for Galaxy Quest next week. It's sure to be a hoot.
The two what?
And from all of us here at the EBD Podcast, this is Mulvey saying so long, folks.
See ya.
So long.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to...
Weeks.
2 weeks. If you'd like to support the show, there's many ways you can do it. You can rate us and review us. You can also support us on Patreon. That would be patreon.com/EPD podcast. You can also tell a friend to check out the show. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful and incredibly important. So please, we encourage you, tell a friend. You can find the show notes for this episode in your podcast app of choice or at our website, abd.fm/episodes/102. As always, follow us on social, folks. We use the handle @ABD Podcast, and we use that handle on most social media platforms. So please follow us there. Thanks so much for joining us for this 90s fest of strange days. Join us next time for Galaxy Quests, and we'll see you. So long, folks.
Beady, beady, beady. 2 weeks.